Okay, it is, are we on? Yes. Okay. It is 6:30, so I will call to order the February 24th Planning Commission meeting for the Plainfield Charter Township. Our first item on the agenda is to approve the agenda. Is there any changes from fellow commissioners? Peter? Nothing? I will take a motion.
So moved.
Marie, second. Dennis, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed signify same symbol. It is approved. Next on the agenda is approval of the meeting minutes. Peter, any changes to the minutes?
No changes.
No changes. Commissioners, anybody have any comments or questions on minutes from the 27th, January 27th meeting? No? If so, I will take a motion.
So move.
So moved. Robin, seconds.
Support.
For Marie, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same symbol. Oh, that is passed also. Okay, we're moving right along here. It is up to public comments. Again, a couple rules for the public comments. Please wait for the chair to recognize you before you speak. Come up to the podium, the microphone. Begin by stating your name and address. Please make your comments or give your opinions on the issue you'd like to discuss. It is not a question and answer, it is purely comments. And to ensure everybody has time to speak, you will be limited to 3 minutes. And again, please be respectful to the Planning Commission and your fellow neighbors when you speak. Is there anybody that would like to have time for public comments today? Just raise your hand. Going once? Going twice? Okay, as nobody is interested in public comment, we will move on to our first agenda item, private road extension approval. And Dennis, I believe you will read that for us.
The project name is Winding Trail Private Road. Applicant, Daniel Dick Highlight Homes. Project address, 4400 Winding Trail Northeast. Permanent parcel number, 41-10-01-451-006. Size of site, approximately 23.59 acres. Project description and action requested of the Planning Commission to grant preliminary private road approval for Winding Trail Private.
Peter, we want to start with you. You'll fill
Sure.
us in on this?
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, before the meeting, this is where Homes Giving Hope came in a few years ago. Some of you may recall, to do a assisted living development. That did not carry out, and so Daniel purchased this property from what I understand, and he is proposing to extend the existing private road that used to serve a church and a home to the back to do about 4 to 5 splits out of it. We'll ultimately see when everything pans out, but that is the proposal. Staff is comfortable with it as is. I did want to note that in the initial narrative, there was a comment about PFAS contamination not being within a mile. That was incorrect. Daniel has resubmitted a revised narrative where he addresses that. There is PFAS contamination. This property is outside of that boundary. It's not in the control area or anywhere. And none of the people, let me restate that. This property is outside of the control area, and it's not a property that was given any type of assistance with either public water or the bottle filter type of system. So that's all I have at this point, but if you have any other questions, please let me know.
Is there somebody here from the organization? If you'd like to step up to the microphone, again, state your name and fill us in on your project.
So my name is Daniel Dick, and I am the owner of Highline Homes and also at Winding Trail. And our project, we propose to extend the private road, as Peter stated, and add some splits to the property so we can build a few new homes in that vicinity.
If I'll start with Jack, then I guess. Jack, do you have any questions?
No, I don't have anything I feel like everything's in order.
And you're aware you have to get some agreements from the county on well and et cetera, so I'm fine.
Robin?
I have no further questions.
Marie?
The question I have is in regards to the PFAS, and it was found somewhere closer to your property, but not on the property, is that right?
That's correct.
From personal knowledge, my house did not test positive for PFAS, but it's a plume, and it was calculated that it would be moving towards my house, so they put me on city water. Is this a possibility?
Sure, it would be a possibility, of course, in any home in vicinity of something like that. We've addressed this with, there is a well on the property in the existing house that has been tested. And my understanding from our discussions with Kent County, the plume direction is more on the side of Rogue River instead of the Barkley Creek side. So the elevations would dictate that. But of course, ultimately, that would be up to Kent County and their approval of the well systems that we're proposing.
So you've gotten some assurance that the plume is going a different direction?
That's what it appears to be, yes.
Okay, is there a plan to continually test that water on a regular basis?
I think that's a wise thing to do as any homeowner. You know, you'd want to make sure that your water's correct, and all these wells would be tested before anybody takes occupancy.
Well, then this question is for Peter. Is there any kind of requirement on the government's part, or the city, or the township?
Not in
to
this
test?
not in this property, it's outside of the ordinance area, so it wasn't included in that, I believe in part because Barkley Creek flows from Cannon Township this way, and I'm not aware of any general contamination on that. As Daniel said, it's more related to Rogue River, City of Rockford, and the landfills to the west. So I'm not aware of that. Now, I don't know if there's a requirement at the county for continual testing. I do know that there's people have volunteered to have continual regular testing, so that may be an option for them.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. That's all I have.
Dennis?
I have no comment.
Peter, I just have a couple questions. With the revised PFA, obviously that's not arising any concern with the change in that document?
Not at this point in time. There's no basis for that other than proximity. There's something that we always will have to be aware of out there, and, at some point it may flow differently, but I think gravity and general flow of water there is helpful to them in this instance.
Is city or water even a possibility at any time here, or is that not?
Since I've been here, I've been told there would be no public water up at 10 Mile, and
Yeah.
there'd be none down Belmont, and this has all happened over time. But not planned, and it would be, water is probably a little bit easier to do there, but sanitary sewer being a rather difficult request, but water could happen.
Yeah, well, that's why, in the topography of the land, is it even feasible to do that at any point?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, it's on Jericho to the west. It's at Crows. It can be done. It's just not a real big return because the lots are so large.
yeah, there's few, okay, but it is possible. Any additional questions from anybody else? If not, I will take a motion.
Okay, I move that the Planning Commission grant preliminary private road approval for the extension of Winding Trail, subject to the following conditions of approval. Number one, the applicant shall provide sanitary sewer and public water easements, a private road maintenance agreement, and a 10-foot sidewalk easement along the Northland Drive frontage in recording format, subject to the approval by the Community Development Department. And number two, the applicant shall obtain a driveway permit, signage, and addressing approval from the Kent County Road Commission.
Take a second on that? Second from Dennis. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same. It is passed. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We might set a new record today, Marie. You just keep watching.
Helping you.
Yeah, I know. Next item on our agenda is, I think we added this zoning ordinance updates. Peter, I would assume this is you?
Yes. So as you know, we received a grant from MISTA to update our zoning ordinance to meet housing needs in western Michigan. We've been working on that, and then part of that process, we are doing an update of some of the chapters we've not touched on over the years, like site plan review and stuff like that, things that aren't typically the hot button items. So we're doing a lot of cleanup again, or formatting, I would say. And then as part of the housing, we are introducing ADUs into the ordinance. We are also introducing duplexes potentially in the R1 areas, not all R1, but certain zone districts and corner lots, increasing the potential density in the neighborhood residential, which is largely in Northview, but there's some few isolated pieces in like Comstock and elsewhere. Another one, and I'm kind of excited about, is the village commercial. We're expanding the concept to get our little village core areas such as Belmont here. Comstock Park already has it, but we would modify that a bit to fit some other areas of the township to give more flexibility for the property owners, like converting over existing residential for live work, things like that. So that's a part of it. We have taken our various commercial overlay districts and combined them into one chapter, so people aren't having to, I'm in the C1, but now I got this other stuff way over here, and to apply it to make it easier. Condensing those regulations into like one spreadsheet for commercial, one spreadsheet for residential for ease of use. And then lastly, we've had some experience now using design standards on the MXU. We are proposing some of those design standards elsewhere throughout the township from all commercial and office districts. It's the stuff we think that most people do anyways, but it's just essentially codifying that in there, so it's a requirement of the ordinance. We don't want to be onerous on it, but we also want to have some standards out there for sustainability. Coming up this summer, I expect we'll be doing some workshops. We're getting to that point with it. We're just finishing up the final chapters right now, working on the zoning map and those details. So if you have any questions, let me know. Oh, I'd be in big trouble if I didn't mention this. The biggest hot button item in the township for years has been recreational vehicles. That is proposed for changes out there, so that'll be something we will look at. So if you have any comments on that, let me know now. We'll try to incorporate those into the ordinance if we can.
Right. From there, does that include all your staff comments? Since that was next in.
Touch on this too, at this point. As you well know, Rushi withdrew. We got a letter from his attorney, Gary Schenk, withdrawing his application for the PUD amendment and soil erosion, soil removal permit. So that's off the agenda and will not be going for the board. It's officially withdrawn.
So that means they are done.
They are done, and then the big date is July 1st, 2026 to see where they're at.
Planning Commission comments? Marie?
I don't want to lose the ability to call in and complain about recreational vehicles in the front yard. I really don't, because there's a lot of junky stuff in front yards. And every time I put in something with the enforcement division, I'm ignored. So I would like to see that, if nothing else, tightened up for a citizen to get some satisfaction a little quicker than 4 months after they put in a complaint.
Dennis?
I got nothing.
Robin?
Yeah, a couple weeks ago, we talked about changing a sign, removing a sign, and the site was light industrial zoned, yet it's got commercial all the way around it. So they couldn't put a sign of their desire because the square footage for light industrial is different than commercial. Is that something that can be cleaned up?
Yes, we talked about doing that in our edits coming up. I don't know if it'll get to exactly like commercial because we're trying to keep a different standard for, especially for light industrial and those types of uses where like commercial, you can do 100 square feet or more. But we do think a greater number than 32 square feet is probably appropriate, especially in situations with grade changes like that.
Is Tommy's commercial, or is that still light industrial?
I believe it's light industrial still.
Jack?
Peter, we've done a lot of work in the past on PUDs. Are you doing anything to change that?
We're making the perfect PUD ordinance even more perfect.
All right.
So he says.
We are doing some tweaks into that, so we can, I can't remember them offhand, but yeah, we're doing some work on it, but not throwing the baby out with the bathwater, so to speak.
And I'll get my comment in on the RVs. I think that has been brought up a number of times, and it's a highly controversial thing. We get people directly on two sides of the issue. I might as well put my 2 cents in. I don't have a problem with RVs in the summer, but I would not like to see them parked in the winter. That's just my own personal opinion. So that's all I have.
Speaking of cars not where they should be, the white commercial truck has gone out of the parking lot on Post. So I don't know how that happened, but it has been moved for the first time probably in years, I think. So that's a good thing.
I gave it to our officers when we got,
Okay, so it did get moved, so appreciate that. I mean,
assume it was
same
them.
thing as the RVs, sitting in that parking lot forever. There was an article, I was on Fox News or whatever, about the County Sheriff's talking to Comstock Park about a drone port.
That I know nothing about.
Okay. They said they're in the preliminary stages. They want to house drones somewhere in Comstock Park downtown that will launch from there to go assist do things. And I'm just curious if that is something that's truly happening. Would that come before the Planning Commission, or what kind of approval would they need for that?
Depends on the scale and scope, but it probably gonna be fairly minor in terms of footprint impact.
Yeah.
So a lot of that stuff's covered under either preemption by a different level of government or essential services like consumers, and that stuff will fall under.
Just something I saw, I thought it was sort of interesting. I think that's all I have. Is there any additional comments? We can set a new record tonight. Shall we do that? Sure. We shall. I will adjourn this meeting. Thank you very much.